Happy draft day, everyone. Now, I'm a horse racing guy, but outside of horse racing, my favorite sporting day of the year, unquestionably, it's the first round of the NFL draft. You can give me a Super Bowl, you can give me Game 7 of the World Series, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, Game 7 with a Stanley Cup on the line, a heavyweight championship fight between two great fighters, a presidential election. All of those are fascinating. All of those I'd watch, but they can't hold a candle, in my opinion, to the first round of the NFL draft, which is tonight. Now let's get down to business here. My favorite player in this draft is the much maligned Wyoming quarterback, Josh Allen. You see here he has absolutely flawless measurables. Compares with Carson Wentz, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback who went second overall out of North Dakota State 2 years ago. You see, 6'5" is the absolute perfect height for a quarterback. You couldn't ask for better height. 33.25-inch arm length, same as Carson Wentz. 237 pounds. That's a big frame, big suit of armor on him. Built to take punishment, same as Carson Wentz. And he's got 10 1/8-inch hands, actually slightly larger hand size than Carson Wentz. Pretty key, to hold on to football, not fumble, and that comes in especially handy in the cold weather like Cleveland and Buffalo. Both of these players had absolutely off-the-charts intelligence. You see, Josh Allen scored a 37 on the Wonderlic. The great writer Bob McGinn covered the Packers for all those years. He leaks the Wonderlic scores of all the players at the Combine. There was not a single player at any position that bettered Josh Allen's 37 on the Wonderlic. Josh Allen had a nearly flawless GPA graduating college. This is an exceptionally smart person. You gotta love, these offshore books, and they put up prop bets on the quarterback with the highest Wonderlic score. They opened Josh Allen up as a favorite. Josh Rosen is, the media makes Rosen out to be a great intellectual. Rosen's father was a spinal surgeon, was almost Surgeon General of the United States by Barack Obama. Rosen's mother, both Ivy League parents. His mother's great-grandfather, I believe, founded the famed Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. The line makers, they set it up. They put odds on the Wonderlic. You got Josh Allen, the farmer. Farmer's son, grew up on a farm, isolated, went to Wyoming. They opened him up the favorite. Within about a day, all the money came in for Josh Rosen. They bet Rosen to favoritism. It wasn't to be. Allen won the Wonderlic by 9 points over Rosen. Just another reason why you can't beat Vegas sometimes. I mean, they are sharp line makers out there. Back to Allen, though, you got all the perfect measurables. You got dazzling intelligence. Carson Wentz actually beat Allen on the Wonderlic. His Wonderlic of 40 was obviously the best in his draft class 2 years ago. Carson Wentz is a straight A, perfect. He finished with a perfect GPA in college, had straight A's going all the way back to ninth grade. And you see them, they're both very athletic as far as runners go. Josh Allen's 40 was, just slightly faster than Wentz. More explosive athlete. His vertical jump was 3 inches higher. His broad jump was an inch longer. In the 3-cone, Wentz actually edged him slightly there. But I don't want to bore you too long with measurables. What really separates these two, Carson Wentz was a guy that, I fell in love with. I liked a lot when I saw him throw. I mean, he had, just very, very impressive arm talent. Josh Allen is pornography when it comes to throwing the football. When you watch Josh Allen throw, it's literally like you're watching pornography. You see ball velocity here, 66 miles an hour for Josh Allen. The NFL Combine record, now this hasn't been tested for, I think it's been 13 years that they've tested at the Combine. No one's ever thrown it faster than 60 miles an hour at the Combine. Josh Allen, 66 at the Senior Bowl. Didn't quite, I think it was 64 at the Combine. He's got an absolute howitzer. But it's not just the otherworldly arm talent with Josh Allen. It's the release. When you watch him throw, he's got a quick release. Most of the time, these, tall quarterbacks, they have, you ever seen like Brock Osweiler throw? He's got that winding Paxton Lynch. I mean, they don't have, that quick, impressive release. Not the case at all with Josh Allen. He gets the ball out quick. Sam Darnold is widely regarded by a lot of people as the top quarterback in this draft. I want to show you something that was done between the two of them, showing, first of all, their release speed and their ball velocity. Okay, we're going to start off with looking at, most people's number one quarterback in this draft, Sam Darnold, his release time. This was a piece done. I'm usually not a big fan of Brinkus with he used to do sports science stuff, and they got Dilfer here. But anyway, I'm going to roll this so you can watch.
From the instant his left hand breaks from the ball to release, averages 44 hundredths of a second. So in spite of all the talk about Darnold's throwing motion, it's actually faster than QBs like Jameis Winston and Derek Carr. And with an average ball speed of 52 miles per hour, Darnold's total time from load to arrival in the
Okay, you saw there with Sam Darnold, his release was 0.44 seconds. Throws at 52 miles an hour. We're going to run the tape on Josh Allen here now.
Arrival measures the load from hand separation to release to arrival, the velocity of the ball. On average, Allen's throwing motion takes only 38 hundredths of a second, on par with Tom Brady. The sensors on his wrist measure fingertip speed, which is an accurate indicator of ball speed. And the sensors indicate that for these throws, Allen's fingertips average more than 74 miles per hour. Easily the fastest launch velocity we've ever recorded.
Wow. Josh, that's exceptional.
Now, getting back to Wentz here real quick, both Josh Allen at Wyoming and North Dakota State, Carson Wentz at North Dakota State, were recruited by Craig Bohl. Basically, same head coach. I mean, you should get the guy an NFL GM job the way he recruits. He has he plucks quarterbacks out of nowhere, better than the Browns have, drafting. But one thing about Craig Bohl's offensive schemes, they like to call it Neanderball. He kind of runs an old school pro style offense. It's power running game, time of possession, ball control. Really not what's been going on in college football with a lot of these spread offenses. You see wide receivers lined up outside the numbers, the offensive linemen with big splits, quickly distributing the ball all over to guys open. You kind of got air raids and variation of the air raid offense. Mike Leach with the air raid, and you look at Baker Mayfield's offense at Oklahoma. There's guys running around wide open every play. I mean, they do such a great job of scheming over there. But in Craig Bohl's offense, you just don't see guys open. I mean, it's Neanderthal. It's old school pro style. And if anyone remembers before the 2016 draft, Carson Wentz was not a popular pick. He was criticized heavily. Let me show you some of that real quick. You see here you had the accuracy talk with Wentz. They show him versus the University of Montana, and there were, according to this, he threw 14 accurate passes and 13 inaccurate passes out of 27 attempts. Draft Twitter has never been more united in hating a prospect like they hate Wentz. You see Pro Football Focus, they do a lot of great work on analytics. North Dakota State quarterback Carson Wentz had an accuracy percentage of 37.5% on deep passes, tied for 81st in the nation. When you're the 81st most accurate passer and you're playing at North Dakota State, which isn't even Division I, and they usually have North Dakota State's kind of like the Alabama of lower level football. I mean, they dominate the Missouri Valley Conference. But I mean, it's really scheme. You have to watch these games. There aren't, these ball control offenses. A lot of the passes they attack the deep outside part of the field. A lot of tough throws. The schemes that Josh Allen and Carson Wentz played in are not the kind of schemes that you go where you're going to put up dazzling stats. If you look at Oklahoma, before Baker Mayfield got to Oklahoma, here's the 2014 Sugar Bowl. This was 1 year before Baker Mayfield arrived at Oklahoma. You see Knight over here. He went 32 of 44, 348 yards, 4 TDs, 1 interception. Absolutely, shredded an Alabama defense that had, their secondary, their safeties are both superstars in the NFL right now. In Oklahoma, just torched them. Guys running around wide open, 45 to 31, they put it on them. Look at the 31 first half points for Oklahoma. Knight did not go on to great things, obviously. But Baker Mayfield took over, just good scheme. I believe Lincoln Riley's the name of the coach at Oklahoma. He was a quarterback under Mike Leach. Mike Leach, the air raid guy, very innovative offense. You look like a statistical stud playing in that kind of scheme. To compare Mayfield to people like Allen and Wentz, you can't do it. You watch the tape, guys are wide open all the time. Wide open all the time on the Oklahoma tape. Not the case in those Craig Bowl. Now, one thing that just completely leaps out at me, the deeper I dove into it, is how much of an absolute winner Josh Allen is. You look at Wyoming, when he got there, the year before they were 2-10. They lost 9 games by double digits. So this was a 2-10 football team that had lost 9 games by double-digit points, got beat by a non-Division I team. Coming into 2016, they pulled 12 different, the media got pulled. There's 12 different teams in the Mountain West Conference. You see the results of the poll here. San Diego State got 29 first-place votes in the West Division. In the Mountain Division, Boise got 27 first-place votes. Wyoming ended up, the expectations for them were to be the 12th best team out of 12 in the Mountain West Conference. Basically, Allen's first year at Wyoming, he was inheriting a team where the expectations were that they would finish last in the Mountain West, and they were coming in off a 2-10 season with 9 double-digit defeats, one of the defeats by a non-Division I school. Now, you're probably asking, what did Allen do in 2016? Well, he willed this Wyoming team. They beat Boise State. Boise State was undefeated. Boise State was the number 13th ranked team in the country. Had a brilliant game, 3 touchdown passes, willed Wyoming to victory. They won the Mountain Conference. They played San Diego State in the conference championship game. The game came down to the wire. They came up 3 points short. But with a team expected to finish 12th of 12 teams in the Mountain West, got them to the conference championship game. The game was back and forth, tooth and nail the whole way. They come up 3 points short. But that's the impact that Allen had in 2016 at Wyoming. Now, you want to talk about the impact that Allen had on the 2017 Wyoming team. They were 8-3, was Wyoming football this year, 2017, with Josh Allen. He was out of the starting lineup for 2 games. The first game was against Fresno. They practically got shut out in the game. They were 2 of 14 on third down, scored a late touchdown with about a minute left in the game. They lost, kind of a garbage time touchdown. Only 7 points they scored in the first game without him. They were home favorites. They lost. Then they played San Jose State. Now, San Jose State was ranked number 130 out of 130 teams in Division I by Football Outsiders. The worst team in all of Division I. Look how San Jose State came into this Wyoming game. They lost 56-0 to Texas. The next week, Utah beat them 54-16. Utah State. This is a home game at Utah State, and San Jose State loses 61-10. They lose by 51 points at home to Utah State. They get buried at UNLV. They lose at Fresno State. They lose at Hawaii. Lose by 21 at BYU. San Diego State killed them 52-7. They go to Nevada. They lose 59-14 to the Nevada Wolfpack. At Colorado State, get murdered by about 30 points. They finished the year with Wyoming. No Josh Allen. Wyoming had a 3-star junior, Nick Smith, playing quarterback. A guy who really wasn't terrible if you watch the tape, but San Jose State beats Wyoming without Josh Allen in the lineup. The San Jose State defense was giving up 46 points a game. They were the worst defensive unit in the country. Held Wyoming to just 17 points, and that's with a garbage time touchdown included. It was about 20-10 with a minute to go, and Wyoming got the ball, and San Jose, just went into a prevent, and Wyoming ended up scoring with about 12 seconds left to make it 20-17. Now, off that game, off the San Jose State game, Wyoming goes to a bowl game. Josh Allen comes back from injury, plays in the bowl game, wins the bowl game decisively as an underdog, and that was only the third bowl win for Wyoming in 55 years. When Josh Allen was out of the lineup with an injury his 3 years in Wyoming, the team was 2-12. When he played, the team was 16-9. Think about that for an impact. 2-12 without him, 16-9 with him. You see the Vegas line on the San Jose State game. It was public knowledge that Allen wasn't going to be playing, and Wyoming still opened up a 22-point favorite for that game. Now, before I watch some Josh Allen tape with you, I want you to just watch, this is Big Nick Smith here playing. I want you to watch this Wyoming offense without him. I mean, you have to really watch this to get an important feel for how big of an impact he had on this football team at Wyoming. Now, this is an important sequence late in the game. It's 13-10 San Jose State. Wyoming, they opened up 22-point favorites here without Allen. Just watch this offense. Watch how it struggled. I'll run it now.
A little closer at least if you get a first down and have a chance to keep going. Instead, it's Wyoming ball, and it's play action on first down. They go to the short route, and it's Conway soaked up in the backfield. We've called his name all night. Dakari Monroe getting to Conway for a loss.
And that was a play that they were trying to do a little trickeration and release Josh Harshman, the tight end, delayed across the field, getting the defense to come one way while they throw the other side. San Jose State defense read it, stuck with it, and that's why he had to make that throw.
Spartans have allowed 44 points per game, the highest total in the country. And yet tonight, 10 to Wyoming. Can they hold it? 2nd and 16. Smith has another drop pass on the other end, this time James Price.
This is the tough part of the game when you're a coach and you're looking at your team. Your quarterback wasn't making the right throws in the beginning. Then he started making the right throws, but your receivers started dropping them. Then you got hot. Then things were going your way. Now all of a sudden, the plays you made in the beginning of the third quarter that got you 3 points, now you're struggling. So Wyoming, it's not 4-down territory, but they need to see if they can get closer to force a long punt.
Wyoming 6 for 30 on third down the last 2 weeks. Smith has time. Now it closes up. And Owen Roberts gets the sack on third down.
And he has the club on his hand. It's so hard to wrap up a quarter.
You got a three-man rush here. Watch this. This offensive line, there's just three-man rush, and you got a defensive tackle with a club on his hand who just barrels through. Trust me, Josh Allen did not have a great supporting cast at Wyoming at all. Here, let's cue it up again. Now, they've got the ball in San Jose territory here, down 3 with 2:38 to go. It's third and looks like 3rd and 2. I mean, this is where this is the 130 ranked defense in the nation. You got to step up and make a play. Watch what happens.
Situation.
San Jose State's been tough on third downs, and they do it again. Bryson Bridges, the junior end, who was a D tackle last year, good at stuffing the run. He stuffs it on third down.
I mean, he completely stuffed that on third down. I mean, look at that. Just comes in, reads it, makes a big, big play.
Okay, that obviously didn't work out too well. It was a 4-yard loss, but you got 4th and 6. It's a big play now. I'll be quiet and we'll run it.
Well, San Jose State's defense has allowed an 89% conversion rate on 4th down this year, 16 for 18. So they want to make sure they get this right. A timeout called, and Derek Odom used and battered all year. Injury on top of injury. They've allowed 44 points per game. But in their finale, trying to stop Wyoming on a key 4th down late. Smith will throw. It's knocked down at the line. Incomplete. And San Jose State gets the stop they were looking for. It was Silosi Latu who got his big paws up to knock that one down.
You're taught as a defensive lineman, if you can't get there, get your hands up. Look what he does. I can't get there. He gets his hands up.
All right, enough of all that. I hope you get the point. The Wyoming team was not very good. Now let's go watch Josh Allen. You'll get to see what I call, the pornography aspect of him throwing the football. I mean, it is a sight to behold. In fact, I'm going to let Phil Simms take it away from here. Phil Simms, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, played 14 years in the NFL as a starter, played for a great, great coach in Bill Parcells, Bill Parcells came out of the Mountain West Conference. I believe he was Air Force's coach before the New York Giants hired him. Anyway, let's run it.
Well said. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft, and I don't hesitate at all. I want him, and like I said earlier in the show, if he fails, he's still going to be a good, solid NFL quarterback because he has so many good qualities. Big, strong, mobile. He has tremendous arm strength. Not that that's going to make him great, but arm strength comes into play in the NFL game about 5 plays, and you guys know it where you got to see the guy down the field, and you got to rip it to put it between defenders. How about that throw? 23 yards down the field. It looked like he was sort of hitch route to the outside. Here, this doesn't even do it justice. He throws his football so hard before the defender can even react to it. But let's think about it. What did Wyoming do before he got there? They lost a lot of games. The 2 years he was a quarterback, they won a lot more games than they lost. How about that throw, Rick? Oh, my God. So there's no play. Every play that you want to design, you can put it in because he can make the throw. And, I thought Wyoming was going to win the national championship. Great. How many guys are going to get drafted off that Wyoming offense this year? Probably none, except him. And also, here's my other thing. Cold. He played in cold. Windy. Really windy.
There is film with snow. There is film with snow.
A snowstorm, I think it's Colorado State. It's coming sideways. And you know what's great about that game? He catches the ball in a shotgun. He threw a 30-yard pass down the sideline, had to throw it back shoulder because the receivers are never open. And the last thing that's good about him, if he threw the same number of screens that Baker Mayfield threw and Sam Darnold, his completion percentage would have been way over 60%. And I wouldn't have to hear this constant, well, you know, Stevie's not accurate.
Well, or if
All right, I agree with the preaching of Reverend Phil Simms there. I mean, I watch a lot of game film of Allen, just tremendously impressed with his arm talent. His accuracy, I think a lot of that has to do with just there was horrible offensive line play at Wyoming, especially in 2017. They had true freshmen starting on the offensive line. The leading rusher and halfback for Wyoming was a true freshman who was a linebacker in camp, was a linebacker for the first game. They had some injuries. They ended up playing him as a running back by the second game. Now, he's a linebacker, didn't spend any time, leading into the season with the running backs. So you saw Allen basically running for his life a lot of times. When he sets his feet and throws, the throws are accurate. Unfortunately, a lot of his throws, he's running outside. He's throwing with he's not a big check down guy, especially when they get behind. He likes to try to force big plays instead of check down. But he'll throw the ball. I mean, just, running for his life. When he sets his feet and he throws, he's as accurate as anybody in this draft class, in my opinion. Okay, now what I want to show you here was my absolute favorite play of Josh Allen's, because I want to show you the competitiveness, the intangibles. I mean, Tom Brady didn't get drafted till the 6th round, kind of had some bitterness about that, a chip on his shoulder. Josh Allen never got a single offer out of college. He had to actually go to a JUCO. He went to JC for a year. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, but the competitiveness is unbelievable. This is a play that none of the networks have shown. I haven't seen this ESPN, NFL Network, any of the talking heads, McShay, Kuiper, or nothing. But this is from the conference championship game here in 2016. Wyoming's leading 10-7. They're up 3 points, and Allen makes a fatal mistake. He throws an interception. The corner for San Diego State, who picked it off, got drafted. He's in the NFL right now. I believe he was drafted last year. I think the Falcons took him. But watch the effort and competitiveness of Josh Allen here. This was just an unbelievable display of it.
Flew by, and they got to all be college football Hall of Famers, and many of them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. Here's Allen to throw. Intercepted. Allen down the sideline was picked off. It's Casey. DeMonte Casey is stopped just short of the goal line.
Casey was trying to get that ball in the end zone. He fumbled the football. They're talking this over, whether this could be a touchback. Diving for the end zone.
That's Allen who banged him out.
That ball comes out. First question is, was his right foot out of bounds? He's inbounds, so that's definitely a fumble. Now the question is, where does the ball go?
Ruling on the field was that the runner fumbled prior to crossing the goal line. Fumbled out of the end zone for a touchback.
This play, Steve, is great effort on both sides. Casey's trying to make a play, trying to punt the ball, coach the ball into the end zone. We see players every week dive for that pylon. They're coached to do that. But give credit to Josh Allen. He makes a huge mistake throwing the football and getting intercepted, but he doesn't give up on the play. If he doesn't get over there with effort, this is a touchdown.
Yeah, we learned a lot about him right there. Some guys might have had their head down or not gotten over in position, tried to protect himself, but he just made a beeline for it and laid out and gave everything he had to try to make up for his mistake.
You can see he knew it was a late throw right off the bat.
And then look at that. He goes to the touchback signal. Allen's got it all.
Well, we were talking to Craig Bull last night about
his young quarterback, and he says, yes, he's got all the skills, the tools. He can run, he can throw, but maybe his most impressive trait is his competitiveness, and you saw it right there. Didn't give up on the play, knows he made a mistake, tried to atone for it.
We'll wait for the official review, but that certainly looks like the call on the field will stand. Grease, so you've been in that spot. You've thrown at least one interception.
That's real funny.
College or pro, I'm saying, but what's that like to not get annoyed at yourself and take it out on the guy who just picked you off?
Well, it takes a tremendous amount of focus. You know, if that were me, I'm not fast enough to get over there. He would have walked into the end zone if that was me. But you know what? This kid can run, and he knows he can run, and he gives the effort to get over there. There's no hesitation. He knows exactly where the pylon is. It's impressive. This kid was named a captain. He was named a captain of the team, having not played a whole lot. He only played one game a year ago. Tells you what his teammates think of him.
From a small town, Firebaugh, California, a town we're told that has 2 stoplights in it.
He's laughing it off.
If this stands, Wyoming actually will gain 9 yards on the interception.
Now, all that being said, I think it's worth noting that it seems as though San Diego State is not concerned with Wyoming throwing the ball down the field. They're sitting on routes. KZ sat all over that route. So that's something that if I'm offensive coordinator Brent Vigen for Wyoming, I might come back and take a shot here.
Yeah, and typically the big arm quarterbacks are the ones that think that they can fit the ball in. And it's a good opportunity for this opportunistic defense. I mentioned the takeaways from San Diego State have been so important the last couple of years.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchback. First down, Wyoming.
Judson Howard is our replay.
All right, you see, they're just monster effort. I mean, this was an extremely, extremely critical moment in the game. I love Allen's competitiveness, his toughness, his intelligence, absolutely off the charts intelligence, off the charts measurables, off the charts physical skills. He throws a football like no one in the history of humanity has ever thrown a football. Superior arm talent, superior velocity. There are concerns. Now, the concerns that I have with him is just his footwork. And I hope he's not a guy that panics a little too much. Sometimes, I mean, he's got bad offensive line play there, but he doesn't always trust, doesn't always trust his line. Sometimes he gets a little antsy, bails from the pocket when he shouldn't. People pretend like he doesn't have a great touch and great anticipation with his throws. I think especially on the touch, that's nonsense. I mean, he was lights out at the Senior Bowl, went to the Senior Bowl, brilliant touch. You watched some of his games, the Texas State game, several other games, tremendous, can throw the ball with tremendous touch, just feather it in. His anticipation, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I mean, he's a sometimes guy there. But the major knock on him, you get the data nerds, the analytical guys, and it's, which I kind of am as far as horse racing goes. But, in my opinion, he's getting hammered for his completion percentage. I think that's totally overblown. I want to show you basically the major knock that everyone has against Josh Allen. All right, you see it here. They're going back. Look at this. They got stats from his JV. He didn't complete passes at a very high percentage in high school. And then, they got the community college, and this is what everyone's jumping on. He was 49% completion percentage at a community college. Now, what doesn't get talked about, when he was at Reedley Community College, he started 7 games. He threw 28 touchdowns against 5 interceptions, and he ran for 10 more touchdowns. So it counted for 38 touchdowns versus just 5 interceptions at Reedley. I want to show you here what they wrote about Josh Allen, during that 1 year at Reedley. They said, there's no question that the MVP for Reedley College this year were quarterback Joshua Allen and receiver Raphael, whatever his name is. They are unquestionably the most lethal combination for Reedley since Robert Johnson and Stewart in 2002-2003. Now, this is important. I will add another MVP to the mix. Offensive coordinator Ernie Rodriguez took over an offense that was stagnant, predictable, and easily stopped. He turned it into an exciting spectacle that would make many Division I schools jealous. The question for next season is how many players from this freshman-dominated team will return. If they all come back, 2015 should be a great year for Reedley College football. So, I mean, everyone's barbecuing him because he only completed 49% of his passes there. But he was so good. Not only did he get talk as the MVP of the team, but the offensive coordinator. He got glowing reviews for the offensive coordinator that 1 year at Reedley. And, you know, if you read the internet, you'd make it seem like it was boy, what a disaster he was at Reedley. Only completed 49% in JUCO. Yeah, that's what the completion percentage was. I don't know anything about the offense at Reedley. I didn't watch any tape of his games at Reedley. But, you know, based on what was written about the team, you know, the newspapers up there, I would say that Allen played just fine at Reedley. I mean, when they're writing glowing reviews about your offensive coordinator and they're calling you the MVP of the team, you probably weren't that bad of a player. So there he is, the uber athletic, uber talented, unbelievably gifted thrower of the ball, Josh Allen. You see here jumping over defensive tackles' heads. My favorite quarterback in this draft, I love Saquon Barkley. Allen and Barkley are my two favorite players, but Allen's the player. I mean, it just, it's like pornography watching him throw a football. I'll be rooting so hard for the Cleveland Browns to draft Josh Allen at number 1. I'm a Browns fan. He is the perfect quarterback for us. If Allen doesn't go to the Cleveland Browns, I hope he goes to the Chargers. The Chargers have my more recent NFL draft crush in Joey Bosa. And they need a quarterback with Phillip Rivers, Phillip Rivers kind of getting long in the tooth. The Chargers, they're going into a new stadium in LA. They kind of need a splash like the Rams did. I'd love to see the Chargers trade your first-round pick next year, Chargers. The Browns pass on Josh Allen. Come up and get this kid. You see big Joey Bosa here from 2 years ago. My favorite player ended up going to the Chargers. You know, he had similar measurables to J.J. Watt, and Bosa was just such a technician. When you watch Joey Bosa play, that was exciting. Not Josh Allen exciting, but very exciting. Just a great. Here's a fun fact about Joey Bosa. Best of all, Bosa's a great-grandson of the legendary Chicago mob boss, Tony the Big Tuna Accordo. The Big Tuna participated in the 1929 St. Valentine's Day Massacre with his mentor Al Capone. He was one of Capone's most ruthless enforcers and quickly rose ranks. He went on to have the most successful career of any mob boss in the history of Chicago. Look in parentheses, Al Capone included. Joey Bosa, the technician. You got him on the defense with the Chargers. Trade up and get Josh Allen. What a fun team to watch. And they got a baby Bosa at Ohio State. Joey Bosa's younger brother, who he might be as good as Joey. He might even be better. I mean, he's really fun to watch. So I hope you enjoyed my man crush I have on Josh Allen. Love the NFL draft. Love Josh Allen. If the Cleveland Browns don't take Josh Allen, as a Browns fan, I'm going to throw something at my TV. I'll be drunk and bitter tonight if we don't have Josh Allen in Cleveland. But if he has to go somewhere else, I hope it's to the Chargers. I can adopt my second favorite team and the team I'll watch all the time if the Chargers come up and get Josh Allen. They'll be fun to watch on offense and defense. You can watch Allen on offense and Bosa on defense. They'll fill a stadium. I guarantee you they'll fill that new stadium in L.A. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.